गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So we are looking the degrees of manifestation, and we are going back through the manifestation to the ultimate cause. And here it was told, Indriyebhya param mano manasa sattvam uttamam sattvadadi mahanatma mahato avyaktam uttamam. Greater than the indriyas is the mind, greater than the mind is the intellect, also known as sattva. Then greater than the intellect is the great intellect. Another name for it is the Mahanatma, the great soul. And greater than the great soul, if there is an individual soul, there is a great soul, total, because, not because, it is like that. And Mahato Avyaktat Uttamam, and greater than the great soul, total soul, is the unmanifest. Avyaktattu Parapurusho Vyapako Alinga Evacha Yam Nyatva Muchyate Jantuhu Amrutatvam Cha Gacchati. Greater than the Avyaktat is the Parapurusha, the transcendental supreme person. Vyapako Alinga Evacha, and it is all pervasive. And it is a linga, it cannot be pointed out through anything, it is formless. It cannot be indicated. You can only indicate something by form or by sound. But here it is beyond both. And see, this is a stage where we have come to, suppose, so many times we keep saying that between the two thoughts is the empty space, between the two breaths is the empty space. We say remain awake during deep sleep, and you are there. But when you get there, now you don't take that emptiness to be here. When it says that emptiness is avyakta, that is unmanifest. So what is unmanifest? The Shakti, the mind, that unmanifest alone became the great soul, that and the world with reference to the great soul. Then that unmanifest alone became the soul. That same unmanifest then became the mind. That same unmanifest then became the senses. And with reference to the senses, the whole world that you see. So what is the cause, ultimate cause out of which everything came? Or is the manifestation of, it is the avyaktat. And we are going to talk about this avyakta more in detail over the weekend. That avyakta is that Shakti. That avyakta is that potentiality. See? And greater than that potentiality, so when we come to that silence in the mind, where the mind is no longer sprouting thoughts, intellect has become non-judgmental, it has become quiet because there is nothing for it to judge. It can only judge the stimuli that come in the mind. If there are no stimuli, there is nothing to judge. So the I dies, so the I also dies its own death, and there is silence. In that silence, in that absence, in that unmanifest mind, then don't take that to be the ultimate. Here it is saying, avyakta tu parah purushaha. That greater than that is the Supreme Person. And who is this Supreme Person? The Supreme Person is all pervasive. What is it pervading? It is pervading the avyakta itself. The avyakta is coming, manifesting or unmanifesting. That Shakti is manifesting or unmanifesting, Vyakta or Avyakta. Vyakta means manifest and Avyakta means unmanifest. Where is this throb of manifesting, unmanifesting, this cycle of manifesting, unmanifesting? Where is it going on? In the presence of someone, no? Someone is noticing it. And what is that? That is Vyapakaha. That is all pervasive. And alingaha, and it is it cannot be it is not, it is formless. It is formless. It cannot be indicated by anything. It is free of all names and forms and distinctions, attributes, qualities. Nothing can touch it. And then one more it said, what is that? Evacha. And it is like that. And then it was told, Yam nyatva muchyate jantuhu. And those who come to know this truth in this manner, amrutatvam cha gacchati, they attain to immortality. They attain to immortality. Now what happens when you reach Avyakta? That will be told in our next verse. It is the intuitive knowingness. It is the one who knows alone knows. Brahmavit brahmaiva bhavati. The one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. But how do you know it? Because there is no senses, there is no mind, there is no intellect. Then how do you come to know it? It's that final frontier. Instead of objectively looking for an answer, we have to intuitively accept that I am that. Just as until and unless I do not have faith and jump, and somewhere deep inside I come to know, no, I can only learn if I jump into the water, then I will learn swimming. I can't read all the theory and then say that I can swim. No. Same way, this is the swim. This is the jump. This is the final jump. Till now, before there was support of senses, there was support, you went from senses to the mind, from mind to the intellect, from intellect to the soul, from the soul to the total soul, from the total soul to the unmanifest. Unmanifest, nothingness, void, emptiness, absence. Don't stop. Now, there is nowhere to go. There is no journey. You have to recognize that you are it. Brahmavit brahmaiva bhavati. And in this manner, this inner journey that the seeker, he is crossing the frontiers of the senses, the mind, the intellect, the soul, the great soul, the unmanifest, and eventually he takes the final leap into himself. You see? And what is this leap? It is a thought-free leap. We can only, because here we are communicating with mind to mind. So we have to use words. How it must have been to be in the presence of Ramana Maharishi, where no words were required, and you just got overwhelmed, sucked into, fall back into yourself in his presence. How wonderful it must have been. See? Now we come to the, and this, in this manner, we come to our innermost core, the innermost essence, and that is the Supreme Purusha, Avyaktat tu Parapurusha. That was the last verse, isn't it? Beyond the Avyakta is the Supreme Person. And what is the quality of, how is that Supreme Person? He is all pervasive, and he cannot be indicated through words, because he has got no qualities, he has got no form, he has got no attributes, he has got no distinctive marks by which you can recognize him. Why? You are that. That's why. So what has happened by the time we have come to Avyakta? We have dropped all our distinctive marks. How do you know the distinctive marks? Only through senses and mind. Now what has happened? You have dropped the world, you have dropped the mind, you have dropped the senses, you have dropped the mind, you have dropped the intellect. You have dropped the total intellect and you have come to zero. Zero is also a thought in your mind. There is nothing, there is void. We have to go beyond that also. And there, that is the final abode of the Supreme Purusha, the Supreme Person. And that Supreme Person is not other than the Supreme Self that you are, the Absolute Self that you are. Therefore, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. Repeat after me. And those who know it in this manner, they attain to immortality. Now, what is the methodology? What is the to attain this? So here it says, na sandrushe tishtati rupamasya, na sandrushe tishtati rupamasya, na chakshusha pashyati kaschanainam, na chakshusha pashyati kaschanainam, hrudamanīśā manasa vikrupto, hrudamanīśā manasa vikrupto, ya etad viduramrutaste bhavanti, ya etad viduramrutaste bhavanti. Together. Na sandrushe tishtati rupamasya, na chakshusha pashyati kaschanainam, hrudamanīśā manasa viklupto, ya etad viduramrutaste bhavanti. Here he says, what does he say? The form of this Atma, it doesn't stay in our drishti, in the drishti, means the eyes, in other words, your normal vision is incapable of perceiving this Paramatma. You can put it in different ways. The senses are not qualified to see the Atma. The mind is not qualified to see the Atma. The intellect is not qualified to know the Atma. They cannot suss it out. And therefore, so if the physical eye is not able to, so when you say na sandrushe tishtati rupa, tishtati means stays. The form What is the form of this Supreme Person? What is the form of the Supreme Person? Formless form. Huh? So therefore, it doesn't stay in front of the Rupamasa. That form doesn't stay in front of the na chakshusha pashyati kaschanainam. It does not stay in front of the eyes. Rudha manisha manasabhivrupto. And it can be only seen through the divine eye, through the third eye, through the intuitive eye, it can be known. And what is this intuitive eye? We will explain. We'll see the Bhashya. It will tell us. And this way, because many people, when they are focused, when they chant Om or they chant their mantras, they can get darshan of the Virat Purusha. Like Arjuna got it in 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita, many people get the darshan of Chaturbhuj Narayan, of Virat Narayan. But then after some time it goes away. But the truth is that which never comes and never goes. So what is that Vaishwanara Purusha? That Vaishwanara Purusha is some form was revealed to you. See? And we can get form only up till the total soul. After that we can't get anything. Because Avyakta has got no form. So here it is told that it can be intuitively known by the eye of wisdom, by the eye of knowledge. How? By controlling the mind and by controlling the mind and by controlling the intellect. Now understand, what does it mean, controlling the mind and controlling the intellect? Here it says, this is the technique, this is the method of yoga, this is the method of meditation. Here when it's the process is given, and in that and this meditation is it is a activity at the sensory level, mental level and intellectual level. And what does it mean? It means, just like in yoga we say yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar. Pratyahar is what? That the senses are not interested in the stimuli outside, and the mind also is so introverted, so contemplative, that it is not leaking out of the senses into the world. In other words, we can say when all the five senses and the mind are standing together, the senses are introverted and the mind is also introverted. So there is some sort of a stillness, and because mind can get activated only when senses are bringing in the stimuli of seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, correct? Only then mind will have thoughts. But if the senses are open but they are not interested in anything, what do? होता है ना कभी कभी, क्या तो तंद्री में आ जाता कोई, someone is just looking into the blank space. What are you thinking? No, nothing. But he is looking at somewhere he is looking. You can see there are so many things in front of that person. But he says, I am not looking at anything. He just goes into that zone. So when eyes are not bringing in the stimuli, then there are no thoughts in the mind. If there are no thoughts in the mind, there is nothing for intellect to say this is good or bad, I like this or I don't like that. So intellect is the judging faculty within you, which puts all the thoughts in various boxes. This will go into the memory, this will go into my, this is the, Bodh's family, put it into that family. Then another one, this one you put into Usha's family. So categorization of all thoughts is done by the intellect. It puts into different files. So that is judgment. That this is this is that, this is this is that. But now no thoughts. What will the intellect do? It has got no job to do. It is there, but there is no job. And as a result, because it has got no work to do, nothing to judge, the intellect also becomes still. So we have already worked out why the senses became still. Remember, from the 5 elements we saw, where are we? इंद्रियाणाम पृथक भावम उदयास्तमयो च यत पृथक उत्पद्यमानानाम मत्वा धीरो न शोचति. So we saw that in that verse. Don't forget where we are coming from. These are the sets from verse number 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, I think. Till 10. This is the sadhana. So here it says, the wise man coming to know the distinction, the separateness between of the senses and their appearance. So eyes are one, but the forms are many. The ear is one, but the sounds are many. The tongue is one, tastes are many. So tastes come and go. Forms and colors come and go. Sounds come and go. See, we all are searching in our life for some rest. We want to be happy. We want to be at rest. We don't want to be continuously doing something. And somewhere, somehow, someday, now because of the Upanishad, you will come to realize you are always searching, we are always growing, we are always seeking, we are always curious about something or the other. We are curious about the worlds, we are curious about the various things in this creation. There are so many secrets. They want to search the secrets of the ocean. They have not discovered the ocean, but they want to go into the space and settle on Mars and Jupiter or wherever. See? So this curiosity in human beings has led them to come to this realization that senses become agitated when the mind expressing through the senses gets identified, gives value and importance to the stimuli. So first recognition is that the various sounds come and go, ears remain the same. All the stimuli come and go, senses remain the same. The moment you come to this realization, then what will be the consequence? You will stop getting buffeted by what is coming and going. Do you get carried away by the cars coming and going on the road? You are standing on the side. You're not carried away by the cars because you're seeing the, no, you're standing on the side. So the senses also, before what was happening? Because of the pressure of the desires that I have to survive, I have to secure, I have to protect, I have to uh, collect, possess, etc., etc. These type of convictions, these type of desires were prompting the senses and the mind to get involved in the stimuli, thinking that they will complete me. But now a little bit of discrimination and we come to realize the senses are the same, stimuli are changing. Then we realize mind is the same, senses are changing. So we don't need to live at the sensory level also. First not at the stimuli level, then not at the sensory level. When stimuli are not bringing in any data, mind has got no thoughts. When mind has got no thoughts, intellect also quietens. And that is what is told here, that the senses, the mind and the intellect come together. What is this coming together? All of them become silent. This is called integration. This is called integrity. The senses are not running around, the mind is not fickle, no thoughts, and as a result, intellect also, it has got no judgment. And and this is what we call as all the faculties coming together. This is the yoga, and this is the highest state. There is nothing after that. So if we use this word in Bhagavad Gita, the word comes from samatvam yoga uchyate, samatvam yoga uchyate. If senses can remain undisturbed by the stimuli, if the mind can remain undisturbed by the five senses, if the intellect can remain undisturbed by the thoughts in the mind, when is this possible? When there is no outward, there is no pravritti, there is no involvement in anything, then this will automatically come about. Every night it comes about. And in this way, and in this manner, let's see the Hruda Manisha Manasa Bhivrupto Ya Etad Amrutaste Bhavanti. And the one who come to know it in this manner, they become immortal, they attain to immortality. Let's read the Bhashyam, 157 page. (158). न सन्दृशे संदर्शना विषये दर्शन विषये न तिष्ठति प्रत्यग आत्मनः अस्य रूपम. This immediate self, pratyagatma, atmanah, the form of this immediate self of ours, it cannot remain steady in front of the eyes. Therefore, ataha na chakshusha sarvendriyena chakshur grahanasyaha upalakshanarthatvat pashyati na upalabhate kaschana kaschid api enam prakrutam atmanam. So there it says that therefore no person in this world, or the worlds, we can say, here it is saying world, no person in this world can see it with the senses, can come to know it with the senses. So chakshu is taken as only the eyes, but when it is taken, it is a representative of all the five senses. Actually, all the six senses, including the mind. Meaning, none of the senses can see, can illuminate this immediate self. Just like all the senses are illuminating colors, forms, tastes, smells, etc., they cannot illuminate the self. They cannot. They cannot gain its experience because they cannot illuminate it. Our eyes can see a form only because the light of the eyes is going and embracing a particular form, lighting it up, and then that form is getting an inverted form gets formed in the back of the eye, and then that appears as a thought in the mind. So here it says, Kaschid api enam prakrutam atmanam, that when they are taking the word chakshu, it is representative of all the other senses. Katham tarhi tam pashyed iti uchyate. Then how are we supposed to see it? How are we supposed to know it? How are we supposed to comprehend it? Question. Hruda hrutsthaya buddhya. With regards to this, it is said it is to be it is located or situated in the heart, and in the heart, in the buddhi that is located in the heart. You can say it in this way: buddhi that is located in the heart. So what does it mean? Manisha manasah sankalpadi रूपस्य इष्ट नृत्यन्तत्वेन इति मनीट तया हृदा मनीषा विकल्पयित्र्या मनसा मनन रूपेण सम्यक् दर्शनेन अभिक्लुप्तो समर्थितः अभिप्रकाशित इति एतत्. So it says, then how are we supposed to see it, know it, comprehend it? So it is said that by that intellect which is located in the heart, which is situated in the heart, so what it is saying, so what do you mean by the intellect located in the heart, or hridaya stha? Stha means stha tishtati, that which is steady, that which is sitting. Hridaya is heart. Who is sitting? Intellect. When will the intellect sit in the heart? Where is our intellect sitting right now? I'm asking you. Where is our intellect sitting right now?
What the Upanishad is indicating.
So our intellect is located, situated, not in the heart at the moment, even though it is always there, but we are not aware of it. Why? Because it is extroverted right now. It is thinking of the stimuli called the thoughts. And what are the thoughts about? What you are hearing right now. So it is assessing it, putting it into different, yeah, I know that, I didn't know that, I'm understanding this, and so on. The assessment is going on. This is the job of the intellect. See? So, hridayastha buddhi, what is this one? This will only happen, as I have already told you before, but let's recap it again. It will only happen when the intellect has nothing to judge. Then it will go back to its own source. What do you mean by intellect will have nothing to judge? Intellect judges all the thoughts that are coming in the mind. It puts in different brackets or different files. So we have consciously, with awareness, with understanding from 6th verse onwards, come to work out that we don't need the stimuli. Stimuli are many, senses are one. For each sense, stimuli are many, isn't it? Senses are one. So why should I go after the stimuli, which are never steady? They are always changing. Immediately at the sensory level, silence will come. Then you come back. Then senses are many, mind is one. Then suddenly the senses fall back into the mind. Before they are falling into the stimuli, now they are introverted. The senses have gone back to their source, the mind. When the sense, this is called pratyahar. So when senses have gone back to their source, the mind, the source of thoughts is missing because there is no stimuli coming. If there is no stimuli coming, again we repeat that the intellect has got no job to do. When intellect has got no job to do, before intellect was looking at, extrovertedly looking at all the thoughts. Okay, you go into this file, you go into that file, you go into this. Now there is nothing. It has become jobless. In other words, I'll explain it to you. Now what is happening in your mind is, what is mind? A play of aham and idam, correct? It's a play of aham and idam. Aham is intellect, idam is mind. Idam is many, aham is one. So I is one, stimuli are many. Then mind is one, senses are many. Now intellect is one, idam is many, the thoughts in the mind. But now there is zero thought. So when I, aham, has got no idam to associate with, be very attentive. If the aham, not if, when the aham has no idam, when the I has got no that to associate with, what will happen? What will happen to the I? It will go back. Go back to where? It will go back to its source. What is the source? The pure consciousness, that is the heart. That reflection of the sun, which was feeling there are too many waves, they are breaking me up, I can't sit still, I can't stand still, these waves are pushing me this way, pushing me that way. Why? Because it was identified with the waves. If it was a bucket, it was identified with the bucket and the water in the bucket. And if someone is carrying the bucket, see, now they are taking me somewhere else. I didn't want to go anywhere. Oh, please save me, save me, save me, save me. See, they are throwing away the water. I'm going to die, 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 die. Help, 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 help. This is our problem. But if in the ocean all the waves have become quiet and our mind is also like this only. The light of the original sun is illuminating the total waters. But only at one spot the reflection is available of the sun, isn't it? Exactly the same way. The consciousness is illuminating the world, the senses, the mind, everything. But that point where the consciousness is fully reflecting or can be caught or is reflecting is called the intellect. So when this intellect has got, when this I, remember intellect and I, when this I has got nothing to associate with, it will go back to its source. Meaning, when the reflected sun in the waters has got no waves to be disturbed by, hurry, that fellow out there in the sky is like me only. Complete. That is also complete. This was also complete. Reflected sun also is complete. It was always complete, but didn't recognize it because of identification with waves, identification with the medium. Similarly, this I, this reflected consciousness, this sattva, intellect, it gets identified with thoughts, it gets identified with mind, senses, world. We are trying to, this process shows us how to cut out all the stimuli so that the intellect goes back to its own source, recognize itself as the source. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. How do you right now exercise, do this exercise? Right now, how do you, here the problem in this example is that you will be thinking, okay? But what I am going to tell you is that even though you are thinking, but you are not able to see it, but you are able to know it, isn't it? That you have eyes by which you are seeing. Your eyes are seeing everything. This Ishavasya, in this Upanishad only this exercise came in the beginning. No, in Kena Upanishad it came. Kena Upanishad. That is the prana of the prana, is the eye of the eye, is the ear of the ear, is the nose of the nose. That thought. So how, right now you know you have eyes, you have vision, and you don't have a mirror in front of you. Your eyes cannot see themselves. Exactly the same way. Or even better example than this is when you are in a dark room, pitch black room, where there is nothing to perceive, and you are in that room, you consciously put the light off, pitch dark, nothing is there, eyes are open, but you know you are, you can't even see your own form, but you know you are. This is a very physical example. That pitch darkness is avyakta, emptiness, void, nothingness. Do this experiment. At the physical, pitch dark, can't see anything, I still am. Pitch dark in your mind, no stimuli, no thoughts, no judgments, no I, still am. Anyway. So, here it says, here it says that when this buddhi is located in the hridaya, which buddhi? That buddhi which is normally lost in the mind, which is lost in the thoughts, it's lost in the desires, it gets associated with the thoughts and the sensory perceptions, etc. And eventually when it becomes introverted, it does shravana mananam nididhyasana, and as a result by moving from manyness to oneness, it comes to ascertain that the worthy goal to achieve is Atma, and then as a result, here it says it becomes capable. Capable, why? Because it has become introvert. It has become capable, why? Because now it is not getting lost in thinking about the world. Now what is it thinking about? It is thinking about the self. It is contemplating on the self. And as a result, when this integration comes about in this manner of the senses, the mind and the intellect, then Atma Darshan happens. Intellect cannot see the Atma. The eyes cannot see the vision. The eye cannot see the I. The capital I cannot see the capital I. The subject cannot see the subject. But when subject is having no object to associate with, the subject falls back into its own source, hridayastha. Falls back, goes back. And what is this going back? It is the journeyless journey. It was always there. If all the water in the ocean is dried up, where will the reflection of the sun go? We will say, oh, it goes back to the sun. Isn't it? In that sense. So did it come from the sun and entered the water? No. The moment medium comes, reflection happens. Isn't it? So moment mind came, body came and mind came, reflection happens. Reflection of consciousness. Atma jnatum shakyata iti vakyasheshaha. This Atma can be known. This is an incomplete sentence. Atma can be known, but important without a thought. It is an intuitive knowing. Tam atmanam brahmai tad ye viduramritaste bhavanti. Those people who come to know this Atma that I am as the Brahma, they become immortal. that this Atma that I am, intuitively that I have come to know, without a thought, in meditation, when my intellect has withdrawn from everything because there's nothing to associate with, and they come to know that this Atma that I am alone is the infinite reality, the Brahman. They come to gain the immortality, or they become immortal. This is the bhashya for the 9th verse. And in this manner, only when we discriminate, when we think in this manner, do contemplation in this manner, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, when we come to know what the stimuli are separate from the senses will become quietened. When we know the senses are other than the mind, then the mind will become silent. When the mind becomes silent, the intellect has got nothing to delve, nothing to judge, nothing to associate, nothing to be convinced of, because there is no idam, there is no object. And remember one thing, important point, aham and idam are coexisting. Subject and object coexist. Without the two, a thought cannot be formed. If there is no object, there will be no thought. Then even the thought of I will have no purpose. Gone. Because subject is I, isn't it? So in this way contemplate, in this way contemplate. So in this silence, the senses disappear, the mind disappears, the intellect disappears, and there's only knowing, which is your nature. And this knowing is without a thought. It is self-knowing. It reveals. Excuse me. And this inner knowing in the silence of all the faculties is called as the eye of wisdom, the intuitive wisdom, the intuitive knowledge. And in this way, sahran manit katham prapya iti tadartho yoga uchyate. That which is situated in the heart, hridayasthita, located in the heart, sankalpa shunya, meaning that which has got sankalpa. Sankalpa is conviction, no conviction, because there is no data available. Sankalpa shunya. The subject has got no object. Sankalpa shunya. What will I do? No, I will think of I. Then again you have become sankalpa. Again you will have a thought. Which thought? Thought of I. But then you start thinking, how can I think about I? How can this I see the I? Not possible. Similarly, how can the aham know the aham? How can it? Can it know objectively? No, it is not possible. And when this happens, what is the nature of the buddhi is the question. To tell this, now the upadesh of yoga sadhana is being given. See, normally what happens is, when we are normally, right now you are interacting in the world, each sense is having its own area of illumination. Eyes illuminating color and form, ears illuminating sound, and so on, so forth. Integrity means, see, if these five senses are illuminating all different five different of stimuli, they are breaking up. They're breaking up. When all the five senses start thinking about one, they become focused on one. Then the mind also joins that journey. So the five senses become introverted. The mind also becomes introverted. Then integrity happens. Then silence happens. Integrity means inner silence. The inner silence comes. And this is defined as the stage of pratyahara, where the differences are absent, state of non-differentiation. Normally, when we are moving around in the world, the senses are never one with the mind. Senses are busy outwards. The mind is imagining something. It is thinking about something. It is not even where the senses are. Each one going and doing whatever they want. Your right leg is going somewhere, left leg is going somewhere, hand is going somewhere, this hand is going somewhere, head is turning somewhere. It seems as if it's all haphazard. But you know that all the movement of the various limbs are taking you towards the kitchen, for example, or taking you towards the satsang, for example. You know that. Refine it more. Are all the five senses seeking something in the world, or are they wanting to see the self? See the self, hear the self, smell the self, touch the self, feel the self, know the self, merge into the self, intellect. Has it ever happened? And whenever it happens by chance, you go to sleep. So normally the senses and the mind, they want information from outside. In this contemplation, they don't want any information, any stimuli from outside. And therefore, each one of them, step by step or spontaneously, they return back to their source. Returning back to the source is like, is like the river returning to the ocean, never to come out again. In the same manner, from where it is merging, it will never come out again. And thus, all the energy that the mind and the senses were leaking into the outside perceptions, imaginations, unwanted, inconclusive convictions, judgments, all that energy is harnessed. All that energy is harnessed. All that energy of the various drops and the various streams and the various streams becoming the rivers, the various rivers becoming the huge Gangaji, and that Gangaji knowing only one thing, I have to merge into the ocean, and it merges. So what is happening? All the energy of all the drops, all the creeks, all the rivulets, streams, minor rivers, major rivers, all that energy is getting collected into one river called Gangaji. So all the drops, comparing that, all the drops of stimuli, the energy was getting lost into that, harnessed. 5 rivers, the 5 senses, they are also going introvert, going into the mind, Gangaji, and Gangaji going back to the source, merging into the ocean. See? So this conservation of energy is the point that is being made here. That conserve your energy, Don't allow it to be wasted. Don't allow it to be not don't allow, yeah, wasted तो हमने बोल दिया, but harness it and apply it into self-contemplation, and very quickly, the merging will take place. See, even when we reach pratyahara stage, where the senses have merged into the mind and we are maintaining the silence, even if we have not come to know the truth, at this stage, any sankalpa you make, suppose you're just coming out of that pratyahara stage and the thought comes, I want gulab jamun. All that energy will go into procuring gulab jamun. If after that meditation, this is what happens to all the young boys who are happy. What? They are sitting in the silence, and when they come out of silence, all the energy goes to, I want to get married, and gone. All energy wasted. The more the stimuli, the more work intellect has to do, because it has to sort out each thought that is coming. Lesser thoughts, less work. No thoughts, no work. Simple hai. And thus, when the senses, mind and the intellect, they stand together as one, a tremendous force, energy is produced, and that as a result of that union, the entire leaking energy was harnessed and put together, and that is the Shakti that we are going to talk about over the weekend. That is the Shakti. And all this Shakti, all this power, remember all the power of all the streams and rivulets and small rivers and big rivers, all of them coming and joining the Gangaji. How much power, how much depth, how much energy it is having. exactly the same way. All the power of all the stimuli, all the senses, all the thoughts, lesser the thoughts, more the energy. No thoughts, full energy. That's how you get rejuvenated every night. And now, but here there is one thing different. You are conscious. And in that harnessing of the energy, that harnessed energy, then automatically finds its way to its source. Automatically it finds its way to source in that silence. That is Brahmaiva Brahma. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. This is the knowingless knowing. And in this way,
Swamiji,
oh,
how can we do that when we are in the world, Swamiji? How can we conserve the energy with no thoughts when we are in energy, when you are in the world?
this question is invalid when you are studying Upanishads.
No, the reason I asked is we have to practice this living in this world, isn't it?
As I said, a person who has come to Upanishads has already sorted this question out about the world.
Okay. Nice.
So there is no relationships, there is no past, future, there is no indulgence in the body. There is no
I got it, Swamiji.
no
I got it.
indulgence. Got it?
Yes, thank you, Swamiji.
So the Upanishadic student has already sorted all this out. If this question is there, then if at all, just as an answer, if any question is there, then we have to do more sadhana. We have to do some karma kand, you have to do the japa, you have to do the pranayam, do all those things. Yama niyam is not done completely. They are not matured yet. But the student who has come to Upanishads, he has worked this out. He is not asking about how do I keep one foot in the world and one foot in the self. This question, because Upanishads are only talking about the self, that is one without a second. So there is no 2 foot, only one. You have one without a second. Where is the question of other foot being put in the world? The world is only a vivarta. World is only an illusion. When we ask this question that what about the world, we have to live in this world, the importance of the world has not gone out of our mind. We have never asked the question. Instead of asking this question, if we say, yes, I understand, but how, just like this student is asking, what did he ask? He didn't ask that it is difficult, how do I do it while living in the world. What is he asking? That how do I merge intellect into its source? That he is asking. See the quality of question of the student. If you read the Bhagavad Gita, nowhere Arjuna has ever repeated the question. As he is moving from 2nd chapter, 3rd, 4th and so on, his quality of questions are more refined because of the knowledge gained from the teacher Krishna. So we must also think that in spite of the world being seen by the senses and appearing as thoughts in the mind, do we choose to think about the world or do we choose to think about the truth? Do we choose to think about the Atma? Do we choose to think about pratyahar, about harnessing energies? do we choose to think about being in silence? Today's topic is Buddhi located in the heart. Hridayastha Buddhi. That was the verse today we did. Now the student is asking, how does the intellect get settled in the heart? This is a subsequent question that will come in a seeker's mind. Seeker's mind, huh? Seeker being one who is interested in knowing the self. He is not interested in validating the world. We have done that enough all our life. World, 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 world. That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to find a final solution to this misery called cyclical life. See? This also happens, you keep doing it, it will trouble you for some time. Eventually, by grace of Lord only, grace of the self alone, we become fixated on the truth, contemplation of the truth. Just like many years ago, we were lost in the world. Many years ago, we were lost in the goodies of the world. Somehow, whatever you are doing, you thought it was right. You did your duties right. You did you earned the wealth. You thought that was right. You did it right. You did your pujas, archas right. You did your parayanam right. Somewhere inside us, the hook was there that there is something more than what I'm doing. There's something more. And that something more, you didn't know what it was. You didn't know when it is going to happen. You didn't know when, how, in which manner it will be presented to you. But after so many years, you got exposed to Upanishads. You got exposed to Bhagavad Gita. You came in contact with satsang. Before you were listening to bhajan and clapping hands. Now subject and object are clapping each other, right? and becoming one. This is integration. That is what, see from where to where you have come. Now don't fall back. Now don't go back to where you were. Don't keep insisting that that was also important what I left behind.
अमित पाणी ही स्तोत्रीय ब्रह्मनिष्ठन.
समित पाणी ही वो सब तो ठीक है, but समित पाणी ही.
That's what we need to do now.
But you cannot do it if you have not worked it out. You cannot. Samit Pani Shrotriya Brahmanishtam doesn't mean that taking the sticks on your head and go to the teacher. That is literal meaning. But that Samit Pani Shrotriya Brahmanishtam is that student who in his life a Shrotriya Brahmanisht will come only because he has worked out there is no answers, no lasting answers in the world to be pursued. So he's asking, what is it that, why am I here? What is that? How can I get out of this birth and death? If everything is ephemeral, everything is changing, what is permanent? What is this moksha that people are talking about? What is immortality? So when he approaches Shrotriya Brahmanishtam, when he approaches a wise teacher, why? He just walked into their village. So he approached him. Or he found one somewhere. So whichever teacher you find, how do you know it is Shrotriya Brahmanist or not? Only by Shraddha. Only by Shraddha. You have got no capacity, you have got no power, you have got no acumen to work out whether this teacher which I am approaching is a Shrotriya Brahmanist or not. So you have to go with Shraddha. And if you go to a thief also, an impostor also, you will benefit. Because Shraddha is there. And if we have doubt and we are already working out, I don't know, this is that, then if you go to a really realized person, still you will not benefit. Even then you will not benefit because attitude is wrong. Shraddha is not there. Surrender is not there. Sharanagati is not there. Sharanagati will only come, and this is this deep faith will only appear when you are not looking for answers in the world. You have tried everything, nothing has satisfied you. You earned the money, you got married, you got the children, you got the grandchildren, you have served the world, but the number of patients don't reduce. What to do? Every year I complete the tax, again the next tax comes. There's no end. There's no end to this. Just as the seasons are cyclical, the years are coming and going, is it that I am also supposed to come and go? Is that my status? Is that what I am? Is there a way to get out of all this? So until and unless we have not come to this conclusion in our own assessment, independent assessment, not because other people have said it, not because scriptures have said it, not because other teachers are telling it. They may say it, but we have to assess and come to our own conclusions that there are no answers in this world. My pursuit at the sensory, mental, intellectual level, my pursuit of this world is only creating more problem for me. It's making me restless. It's not leading to that silence, to that contentment, to that blissful disposition that I'm seeking. But that should be an independent assessment, not because Bhagavad Gita is saying. And probably somewhere, each one of you have done that, that's why you are sitting here. But don't fall back again. Don't go back to it. But what about the world? Is it not our responsibility? Then you are going back to chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. We have gone beyond all that. See, normally what happens? The what do you call? The Atman is illuminating the intellect. The intellect is illuminating the mind. The mind is illuminating the senses. The senses are illuminating the world. This is what our journey, this is what is happening in us. So where is the light of the self getting utilized? In that which is not. In that which is continuously changing. It is that energy of the self is being used to illuminate that which is never still, continuously changing. And what are we doing? We are gathering all that light, all that energy back. all that potentiality, we are gathering it back, step by step. And for that, nothing physical needs to be done, just understanding is required. Here, sitting here right now, you have harnessed your energies. You could be watching TV, you could be watching footy, you could be jumping on your sofa with the one goal, two goals. You could be indulging in your children or grandchildren or visiting them or whatever. So many things, so many options were there for you. But you gathered your energies. Maybe you have come back from work and not eaten yet. But this was more important. You harnessed your energies. No, this is more important. Have we made the self the most important pursuit of our life? Living in the world will continue, whether you got realized or you are not realized. It will continue. It's better to live to be in the world after realization, not without realization. So realize, but for that penultimate step is you have to disentangle from the world. And recognize, whether I like it or not, this world is happening by itself. How many times I have told you, hunger comes by itself, breath comes by itself, vision comes by itself, everything is happening by itself. This idiot is saying I am doing it. So when we are controlled, then the stimuli is, we go back to the senses, we go back to the mind, we are stopping the leakage. From the mind we go back to the intellect, and from the intellect we go back to the Atman. This is the journey. Yada panchavatishthante. Repeat after me. Oh, it's already, just read this. Yada panchavatishthante jnanani manasa saha jnanani manasa saha buddhischa na vicheshtati tamahuh paramam gatim. Together. Yada panchavatishthante jnanani manasa saha buddhischa na vicheshtati tamahuh paramam gatim. I think it's the same thing what I am telling. When the yada panchavatishthante, when all the five senses are settled, jnanina manasa saha, and because when the five organs of perception, the five organs of knowledge, there's another word for them, that the perception is, we call them jnanendriyas. Karmendriyas are hands, legs, genitals, and the anus. Jnanendriyas, where the knowledge comes, is these five senses. So when these five organs, the yada, then panchavatishthante, when these five organs of knowledge, jnanani manasa saha, when they rest together along with the mind, buddhischa na vicheshtati, and then when then the intellects, buddhischa na vicheshtati means that it is not getting involved in anything because they have become quiet. It is not working anymore. It is not illuminating anything anymore. It is not functioning anymore. What? Intellect. No job to do. Meaning it becomes silent. It becomes still, calm. Then tamahu paramam gatim. This is when intellect becomes still. That is the ultimate state. That is the ultimate state. उसके बाद अब क्या कुछ नहीं. That is the ultimate state. After silence, what do I do? No, in the silence you are. You were there always. Before you could not see yourself. In the silence you are able to, the self reveals, because there is nothing to distract. There's no otherness, there's no differences, there's no stimuli of the thoughts. Everything is quiet. In that quietness, whatever is that consciousness, it reveals, because it is always there. We'll talk more about it in our next class.
Thank you, Swamiji. You brought me back. I was
Clear, na?
yes, Swamiji.
नहीं, ये बीच बीच में these things, these thoughts come, no doubt about it. And
No, you put me back very nicely, Swamiji. Very nicely. Gladly. I mean, I don't regret asking that question, because you made me more straighter, and everything came out very well, Swamiji. See, you came to the second, the next sloka was actually telling that whatever you told is what the next, the 10th stanza is.
I don't know. We'll read now.
No, you read now, no?
अच्छा, ये वाला,
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay. So with this we conclude, and tomorrow we'll meet tomorrow anyway at Samida's place. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.